Remember to like, comment, share. Delighted today to be joined by Chris Brack from the LFC Day Trippers, and obviously everyone go over and subscribe to the LFC Day Trippers. I'm sure he's already half that's watching this tonight or that will be watching it later. Chris is doing Sports Unplugged tonight like he does every Friday, 10 o'clock. Chris, what's happening, mate? How's things? Big one tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on. I've been promised to come on for ages. They're never quite am available, so it's good to come on. Not much there, mate. Just been working, so it's been a nice distraction before all the excitement of the weekend. So logged off now. So what was it? But about this time tomorrow will be about half an hour away from kickoff. So can't wait.
Yeah, 24 minutes bang on to kick off this time tomorrow. So that's the tension's building up to it. Seeing a lot of the lads over in Paris, a lot of people in Liverpool. Obviously here as well in Ireland, like a huge fan base all around the world, and everyone's just in party mode now. How is the nerves going into it tomorrow, Chris? Are you relaxed in party mode, or are you apprehensive, or just completely nervous about it?
I'm quite relaxed at the moment, but I mean, I normally am this far out. It's probably when it's give it like an hour or so before kickoff. I think that's when the nerves kick in. I mean, Kev, who's up on the day trippers, he normally is nervous in the lead up, then he's actually all right in the game. So I'm quite relaxed. It's a tough tie. Listen, we all didn't want City because I just don't like playing English sides in Europe ever. I just think I'm just bored of it. But this will be a tough side, this, because it's not the greatest Real Madrid side, but it's a side that's proven it's got magic moments in it. I mean, look, we've seen they've had magic moments in every knockout round so far to get through, and they've still got so much quality. I mean, the big thing for Real Madrid is they're probably they're in a transition period, and they've won their league, and they've got to European Cup final in a transition period. It's fair play to them, But look, they've got loads of good players. Benzema, Vinicius Junior. He's very erratic, but when he's on it, he's ridiculously good. And then he's got loads of experience to the side, so it's going to be a tough game. This, but as good as they are, Liverpool are very good. I think people are a bit more apprehensive of Liverpool at the moment because of the amount of players carrying knocks and niggles, which you'd expect after 62 games. I think that's probably the bigger concern is how fit is everyone, and fingers crossed, they're all fine.
Yeah, it seems to be going into the game. Big shout out there to John Wallace, says, yes, boys, Luis Diaz is the best Colombian import since cocaine. I think that banner going around, John, very funny, and Liverpool fans, they come up with everything, don't they? So it's another kind of laughable one, but very good one as well. They come up with some of the best banners and stuff. Yeah, it looks like we've everybody available. There was obviously, like after the FA Cup final, there was doubt whether Van Dijk, Thiago, Fabinho, Salah were going to be available for this final. There's a possibility 2, 3, if not all 4 might have been out. But now it looks like they're all going to be available. How fit they're all going to be, I think Salah is back more or less fully fit. Van Dijk, Fabinho be very close. With Thiago might be the only question mark. I know he'll be available, he travelled. But how fit are they going to be, or is Thiago going to be, do you think, Chris?
I think Fabinho's the bigger worry, is because he's not played for 3 weeks. And listen, Fabinho's brilliant. And I often say, when Fabinho's having a bad game, you notice it because Liverpool really struggles because he's that key to us. But the one thing he can be quite slow getting up to the pace of a game after an injury. So 3 weeks out is a little bit of a concern with Fabinho. Thiago, it's only been a week since the injury, and they're saying it's not as serious. So I'm not too worried about him missing much training because I don't think they're doing much training now anyway in between games because of what they've done. The concern I've got is, I think I didn't realise until it was brought up in the press conferences, they were asking Klopp about the pitch, which I thought was a bit of an odd question to ask him, but apparently the pitch has been relayed, and it only got finished being relayed yesterday, which doesn't feel like the smartest move. Now, it's fairness to Klopp, he just said, look, it's the same for both sides. It's not ideal, but I do wonder if that plays into the mind of it. Do you start a Thiago with new pitch? It won't be bedded in, and it's an ankle injury. They're the sort of concerns you have about it. It wouldn't surprise me if one of Thiago Fabinho's on the bench.
Yes, that's it.
And then you make him do, one does an hour, one does 60. I think Henderson probably does the full 90, 120, whatever you're asking him now. I think that's what Henderson will have to do. I think Keita will be asked to do a lot of heavy lifting, like he did, to be fair to him, and he did well in the both the other cup finals. I think
both cup finals,
quite well. The worry with Keita is you've still got that flashback of Madrid away, bless him, he had a bit of a nightmare. He wasn't the only one, to be fair. They all had a bit of a nightmare, but when you get hooked after half an hour, it's pretty telltale that that's the issue. But I'll be honest, I'm all right with most combinations we do, because Keita, to be fair, has been available most of the season. And if I'm honest, I think most of the time he's been all right. I think he's done fine. He's had a lot of highs. Probably the last game against Wolves was a bit of a low. He wasn't great in it, but to be fair, neither was Konate as well. So we will see.
Yes, Kev throws in there, evening boys. He's nicking my team, Daz. Don't believe him. Obviously referring to you, Chris. But Kev will be also on Sports and Plug tonight. Is he with you on tonight, Chris, at 10? Yeah.
He is. It's me, Kev, Luke, and Ash is actually coming on Sports
Lovely.
and Plug, which would be good. So we've got 4 of us. Listen, Kev nicks all my good ideas. He just passed them off as his own. I've got the WhatsApps to prove it. You're
just rotating them amongst each other. Good squad harmony in the Sports and Plug team.
Yeah.
But no, I think tomorrow, myself personally, I think Fabinho will have to start. I think he's the general in midfield, just the colossus that he is, best whole of midfielder in world football, I think, and he's pivotal to a game like this. I think we would need him more than we would need Thiago. I think we both badly need them, the general and the governor in midfield. But I do think more so Fabinho, he's been well rested now. I don't think maybe his injury was as bad as probably it was first meant to be, and he's been doing a lot behind the scenes, back with training, and he's going to be badly wanting to play this, because he's played a massive role in Liverpool getting to the final, and what a season he's had for us. 63rd game of the season tomorrow, Chris, the furthest any English side has went in all competitions. We went the whole distance. We went to 15 minutes of clinching a title as well. Obviously, it was out of our hands and we still done the business. So, that the lads deserve unbelievable credit. Extraordinary season so far. Can even be more extraordinary tomorrow. We have lost less games this season in 62 games in all competitions than Madrid have lost in the Champions League this season. So that's remarkable. PSG probably should have beaten Madrid. Chelsea again should have. City definitely should have. And I know you said earlier, and you didn't want an all-English final, but obviously Man City didn't either, because I just think as the going got tough and they to weather that storm, right, just going into stoppage time or extra time of the 90 minutes, Man City didn't fancy us. So I really do believe that they played us 3 times already this season, haven't beaten us. It'd be an ultimate disaster if Pep lost again to Klopp, particularly in the European Cup final, the one thing City want. And I know, look, it's not conspiracy or a theory or that, but I honestly do believe, that a big impact that we got there first. If City had played the night before us, I do believe they would have beaten Madrid. I just think...
Yeah, I think it was. But I mean, the other thing is, the all English fans or the all Spanish fans, like we've seen the Atletico, Real Madrid fans, they're not great finals. The Italian final, the AC Milan Juventus one, it was a dog of a game.
Yeah.
Because the sides know each other so well and they all know how each other is, there's no surprises where there is still look, I'm not saying they don't scout Real Madrid, but you don't play Real Madrid every week. So
yeah,
it just, I always think it just brings a bit of an allure. So it's like when we got Tottenham in the final, I wanted Ajax, not because Ajax were easy, just because it wasn't an English side. And also we hadn't played Ajax then since the 70s. So that's the kind of thing I want.
So.
I mean, interesting. They're very bullish Madrid. Some of the quotes coming out saying, I hope Salah won't take it too seriously. I believe too badly losing 2 Champions League finals. So, this is the Real Madrid machine now going. And look, they will be confident because the last time they lost the European final was, I think, 81 against us. So in Paris, yeah. So that's, if you're a Liverpool fan, that's the hoodoo you're hoping for, is it's all fallen in place. But if you're a Madrid fan saying we've not lost a European final since 1981,
yeah, it's exceptional.
It's an exceptional record. They know. They've got some players there. I think if they win it tomorrow, I'll look at that. Was it 5 Champions League titles? It's outrageous how many there is. But look, we'll see what there is. I mean, I think the Madrid side fairly easy to pick. I think there's more question marks about ours, I would say. What's the putting in there?
Yeah, Kev throws in City, PSG, and Chelsea all prove that this Madrid side can be got. They're not as good as they were in Kiev, but we definitely have improved with options to change things. And I know I totally agree with Kev. Look, I think Real Madrid, world class, ultimate team. They're going for the 14th European Cup. No shame in losing to Madrid. It's probably on paper, and look, we've seen La Liga is not the league it once was. It's not the dominant league. They won the league by 13 points ahead of Barca, 15 ahead of Atletico, last season's champions. I do believe this Madrid side are more naive, more vulnerable than ever. They're not playing like, they haven't had the competitive season as what Liverpool have had, where, like, we seen the two cup finals, how hard it was to win against them, against Chelsea. We seen the monster of City. At one stage, we were trailing them by 14 points in the league. When COVID kicked in, we were getting a lot of rescheduled games, and City were playing theirs and beating. And at the time, Pep was coming out saying, if any of his players have COVID, he's not even going to say it. And you just felt, look, this City team, they're untouchable in the league. They do what they want. Financial fair play, there's nothing about it. And we're really getting a bit of a raw deal. And we felt all a bit harsh done, because on a day when we go toe to toe with City, we always get a good outcome, or we get an outcome of where we don't lose many. And then you have the Champions League, the first English side to win all 6 in the group stage. We go in, we absolutely disintegrate Milan at San Siro. Then obviously Benfica at home we beat, and then in the semis, we over the 2 legs really went through comfortable against Villarreal. But again, they were very defensive. They were a little bit negative, you could say. But you're going to expect that when a monster like Liverpool's coming up against a side like Villarreal. And we've blitzed the Champions League so far. I think we've been very comfortable. A lot of the time in second, third gear, we're able to rotate. Tomorrow, we will be on our A+ game. We're playing an unbelievable side to a great experience in this. When we get to the final, no matter what Madrid team it is, whether they finish 4th or 5th this season in La Liga, they're going to be up for this. The pedigree, the appetite. They're going for double what we have tomorrow. They're going for 14, we're going for 7. I just think, though, Kev is right there. They have played their best. They've given it everything, and they've got the look, the rub of the green. But on tomorrow, we're going to need that bit of luck in the night, because I think you always win cups, and particularly trebles, you need a bit of luck. And I'm just hoping we turn up and conduct ourselves with the right attitude tomorrow and go about it the way Liverpool do in European Cup finals. And they're as experienced as they were in Kiev, but we're much more experienced. You see the interviews this week from Mane, Van Dijk, Robbo, Fabinho, they're all just really, they're much more composed and calm. They've been here, done it, and winning those 2 trophies this year and going right to the last day of the season, the last couple of minutes against City, will have given these lads huge confidence. Would you agree with that, Chris? Well, what would be your take on it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, Kev's right in terms of, City put 4 past them away from home. Chelsea put 3 past them in their own stadium. But what Madrid have shown is, and I think Madrid have shown this over the last couple of years, is if you get the chance to kill them off, you've got to kill them off. You don't want to be going into the last 10 minutes going, the gap's only 1, because they've sort of wrote that as their history, their story this year, which is, as long as we're within 1 or even 2 with 10 minutes to go, we've got players that can change it, and they have got players that can change it. And in terms of the rest, there's 2 ways to look at it. Madrid can go, I've got an older squad, and they're probably nice and rested, which means they'll be really sharp, which what they'll need to be against Liverpool. Liverpool, is it battle-hardened and tired, or does it mean we're just in a bit more of a rhythm? I think you could spin the story either way, depending on how your mood is, to be honest. So, listen, I'm hopeful that Liverpool will win, but it's just going to be a World Cup final. They're just about winning. Now, there's one thing I don't agree with the over-the-top arrogance that we're seeing some of the Madrid players saying, look, Madrid just turn up and win. But Casemiro came up with the best line, which is, finals aren't to be played, they're to be won. And it doesn't matter how you get there. That is all that should matter. And that's the right way. And I think too many get hung up on the spectacle. And it's like, just find a way. I don't care how Liverpool do it. Just find a way. Hopefully not 120 minutes and penalties. My heart can't really take a third one of them, to be honest. So
no.
I'd like us to win and win it in 90 minutes, but I somehow have this horrible feeling I'm not going to get that joy in my life, unfortunately.
A boring final, but Liverpool just win easy enough would be great, but we don't do it the easy way. But for once, please, God, make it happen.
When was the last time Liverpool ever won a final and you went, it's fairly routine? Probably Tottenham was probably the most.
I was going to say that. Probably the closest.
It was routine in terms of Tottenham had a lot of the ball, and they had a lot of shots. But when you watched them back, nothing that was their best chances probably came when Liverpool went 2-0 up. Liverpool actually, while didn't play very well, I don't think, in the final, kept Tottenham at arm's length. But all the other finals have been roller coasters, or coming from behind, or actually not playing very well but gutting it out. Even probably one of our most exciting finals, which is the Alaves one in or Istanbul. We actually don't play very well in either of those games, but they end up being the most iconic finals, 3-3 and 5-4. So it's kind of a Liverpool way. I do think, though, there'll be goals in this game. I don't think it'll be as cagey as people are thinking, because I'm not sure that's how Madrid play now, which you shouldn't do when you've got Mendy at left back. You've got Vinicius Junior left wing. You've got either Valverde or Rodrigo on the right wing. There's pace and goals and skill in that side. And look, while their midfield is older than it has been, it's still got some magic in it. We saw the Modric assist to get them back in against Chelsea, which is still one of the most ridiculous assists I've ever seen with the outside of his foot. That's what they're capable of.
Yeah.
This is where
they're full of players. They're full of personalities and football arrogance, Madrid, aren't they? Like where they've Benzema, Kroos, Modric, Casemiro, like they've all these players that are World Cup, Champions League winners, been there, done it, huge experience, very composed in big games like this. And like their attitude would be, just do this. Like who cares about a good final or playing well? You just want to be the team winning it. Like we don't want to be tomorrow night saying it's a great final, but unfortunately, it wasn't our way. Who cares about that? That's for the neutrals. The neutrals want that. We don't want that. And they have World Cup, European, Champions League winners, La Liga winners. They're full of winners, this team, and they know what to do. But we also are full of winners. Probably not as much experience as them, but to an experience that you just need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk. I mean, it's obvious why they do it. A lot of parallels of the Kiev final, but we're both clubs are in very different stages there. I mean, if you look at Liverpool now, the spine's different. It's Konate or Matip for Lovren. It's the world's best goalkeeper, in my opinion, Alisson in for Karius. It's the world's potentially if he's fit, one of the world's best defensive midfielders in, which means it's not a James Milner playing that role. And then if he's fit, and I think he's going to play at some point. I think it's debatable if he starts, but Thiago gives you something. He gives you probably what like the Modrics and the Kroos give you, that little bit of control, that little bit of magic. Does all the dirty work. It's very underrated how much dirty work he does. But that's the thing he gives you. And God forbid, I'm touching every bit of wood here, if you lost one of the front three like we did in the final 2 years ago, we're bringing on a Lallana who's just come back from injury, doesn't have any pace. Whereas now you go in, as we saw in the FA Cup final, we lose Salah, Jota comes on, and you've still got Firmino on the bench as the fifth option. And the sixth option now is going to be Minamino because sadly Origi's out of the final. Yeah. But already you're going, that's a bit more, that's more depth.
And with Diaz starting, Chris, it looks like Diaz will start. I mean, he for me has been hit the ground running. He's just elevated as each game's went on. He's really evolved, but that left wing where he's been out on the left side up top, he just has no fear. He'll go at this Madrid team and he'll show no fear. He'll show no remorse. He'll just go at them. And if he had his finishing boots on the final against Chelsea, he could have 2 goals maybe in the first couple of minutes. He was all over the place, and he is going to be a threat. Madrid won't like him. And I know when we played in Kiev with the Salah, Firmino and Mane up front, and Mane was probably a little bit more moulded than Diaz. He was a little bit more experienced. Diaz isn't as much, but by God, he will do what fans want him to do and what his teammates want him to do, and he just get the ball, hold it up there and produce magic, and he's no fear. But what he has now is his confidence and experience, because he's come into this Liverpool team, one of the best ever, by the way, halfway through a season, hit the ground running, and potentially now he got man the match in the FA Cup final, and potentially now going to start the Champions League final for Liverpool. His dreams are just coming true all at once, aren't they? And he's going to be, like the way he plays, aggressive and hungry to win that tomorrow. And I think he's a big plus, and I think he gets the best out of the other lads as well, as good as he is. You know what I mean? I think with him coming in, you see Mane evolve and go more central. He's been world class. Salah, okay, you can't say he's improved because he's had a bit of a patch, but he's come out openly and says he wants Madrid. So you just feel he's going to do something special tomorrow, and he owes us a special performance in the final. We haven't seen much of that. I know he gets the penalty against Spurs, but he doesn't have a great game, but it's not about Salah, I suppose. It's about, we just want to win tomorrow and we don't care who plays well or not. But I just feel Diaz evolved so much that the rest of them now around him are even more confident, that have that football arrogance and just feel that bit taller,
Yeah, it's the conversation that we always said about Rafa's blanket, which was a conversation Rafa says, you have a blanket, it's how far you can cover it. And because everyone knows how good Salah is, a lot of things double up on Salah, which is giving Diaz that bit more license to roam and go at players and a bit more space. Now, Madrid could say we're going to double up on Diaz, but then can you double up on Diaz and double up on Salah and leave Mane in the middle? So that's where we give them the problems. I mean, there is a lot of talk of Vinicius Junior versus Trent. we understand the narrative for that is statistically wise, Vinicius Junior's got the most dribbles, the most assists, the most take-ons in the competition. So he's a very dangerous player. He's very erratic. I think we saw that in the City game where he scores a beauty at the Etihad, but then for 10 minutes after that, he's all over the shop. I think that's just what you that's just what you get with wingers. That's what it is. But we've got the same sort of argument, and it's at the other way. Luis Diaz versus Carvajal, who's not had his best season for Madrid. And look, it's like all players. You get older. It just happens. And I think Luis has a lot of questions. The only criticism I'll have of Diaz is, and listen, I think he's a fabulous player. He gets you on the edge of your seat. I'd like a bit more end product from him. He's getting the assists. He's got into goal position. Now listen, he's been through the door 6 months. So look, in 6 months we could be talking the ball goes to the World Cup, and I'm looking really silly because Diaz has got loads of goals, which I'm perfectly fine with. I've looked silly many a time, but that's probably the only criticism you can give of Diaz is, as good as he's been, and he's been excellent, is there probably still a bit more you'd like out of him in terms of goals and assists, because it's there. You could, everything about him says it's there. But look, maybe a pre-season on the Jurgen Klopp, bit of a better grip of the language so he can get the instructions across to him better. That might be all he needs, but I'll be amazed if Diaz isn't starting. I would say it would be the biggest shock in the side if you're not starting Diaz. So for Liverpool, I think the front three picks itself. I think there's a debate on 2 midfield positions and there's a debate on 1 defender. I think the rest of it's fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And I think for Madrid, I think you could pick 10 of the 11. And I think the only position that's a debate for me is, do you go Valverde or do you go Rodrigo? I think they'll go Valverde because he can drop into midfield and make them a midfield 4 to help do 4-3-3 against our midfield. And Rodrigo is excellent, but a lot of his magic moments have been last 25 minutes, tired legs, and he's just so direct. So and I don't think there's many other surprises there. Alaba's going to start at centre-back, which helps them, makes them stronger. I think the rest of the back four pretty much picks up.
Who do you think starts to send that back from Madrid? Militao and
Alaba, I think that's who they want. I don't think they'll pick.
Don't think Nacho?
No, I think Nacho's comfortably their third choice. Unless they go back 5, which Kev Sullivan has pointed out to me. They have done back 5s quite a bit this year, but I don't see it for a final. I think you go Carvajal and Mendy, and then Alaba and Militao. Militao's had an excellent season, and he's got the pace. The challenge for Liverpool would be, let Diaz take on Carvajal, see how he handles it. And if I was Sadio Mane, pull onto Alaba, only because Alaba's, again, coming back from an injury. Now, he's deliberately not playing enough a lot recently because they've kept him back, make sure he's fit.
I thought for the final particularly.
But let's see. We're worried. I'm worried about how rusty Van Dijk or Fabinho might be after the injury.
I think last Friday night they played Cadiz in the last home game at home. They drew 0-0, but look, they did the league well wrapped up. And I think they went with Militao and Nacho, I'm nearly sure. And I think they went with Rodrigo over Vinicius. And then they'd obviously, they went with Junior and then Benzema in the middle last week. Now, they did draw 0-0. I know Casemiro, Modric, crucial in midfield, but they were able to rotate rest. But the good thing is with tomorrow's final is we can make 5 subs. I think that massively suits us.
Which could be the reason you may take a risk. One risk. If it was still 3 subs, I would say it's nailed on. Only one of Fabinho and Thiago starts. If it was only 3 subs, because it's 5, you can almost take. You take that? You can possibly take that risk if you want to. And look, Madrid's midfield, it'll be Casemiro and Cruz are 2, and Modric will be a bit of a freer role. Cruz isn't as good as he was defensively, but look, he's a fabulous player, and if you try and get the ball off him, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. Casemiro is what Casemiro is, master of the dark arts, knows how to break things up, and Modric is still magic. But this is why I think they might go with Valverde, is he'll just give them an extra bit of legs in midfield just to help them out when Liverpool have the ball. And try and out numbers that way, and they may just tell Benzema and Vinicius to cheat a little bit and go a bit higher. But again, we've seen with Benzema, he likes to drop in as a 10. That could be Madrid's tactic: is always get Valverde and
he's going to be the danger, isn't he? Like, I know you mentioned Van Dijk starts tomorrow 100%, but
definitely
who goes beside him? There's a good omen with Kanate. He's played nearly 30 games for us, and he's won every game he's played in. Right, he's had a couple of. He's never lost. Sorry, he might have had a draw or two, but he's won nearly probably 99% of them. He's also like him at the back with the pace, but 2 units. Like he's even taller than Van Dijk. Again, he's evolved. But Matip is just that bit more experienced. He seems a little bit more cooler and composed. But who's the better out of the two of them? Like I don't know. Like if you're looking at a Champions League final, you're probably looking at, well, Matip has stayed fit all season. He's played most games. We know how much Klopp likes the fluidity and rhythm of people starting and playing regularly. You'd probably say Matip, and because you're going for experience against Madrid. I don't think it's probably a 50-50, but I'd probably just tip Matip to start with Van Dijk there because of just the things of what I've said, because of the game it is, the magnitude, calibre of it. But then I'm not surprised if Konate comes in because he's just unbelievable as well. And as I said, for his presence, how tall he is up against Benzema, Vinicius, you know what I mean? Any of the lads, Valverde or Rodrigo in attack, whoever they go with. But Benzema, for me, is a huge threat, full of experience. He's at Madrid. He's there 12, 13 years. He's won World Cups, European Championships, loads of European Cups. He might have won 4 or 5 at this stage. Unbelievable player, big game player, and he will be the biggest threat, I think, for Madrid. But I've seen him put in bad performances this season. I've seen him not really fancying it this season. But Van Dijk is going to relish playing against him. You know, this is calm as you like Virgil van Dijk. We know what he's about and how great of a player he is, and he's back to his best.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back into the argument for Matip makes sense because he's probably played more Champions League games. Generally, when Virgil's coming back from an injury, they tend to put Matip next to him. I think it's because he's so much more experienced that Virgil doesn't really have to talk him through the game like he will do with a Gomez or a Konate because they're younger. You know, he can just concentrate on being himself. The only worry with Matip is his lack of pace. Now, listen, he's always had lack of pace, and he always makes up for it because he's quick in the mind and he gets himself in positions. But I would worry Vinicius one-on-one with Matip because, look, he's just so quick. I was all right with Konate started thinking, look, his pace was probably what you need against Vinicius Jr. But there is that niggle in the back of your mind is it's probably his worst game I've seen him play was against Wolves. It's a very basic error, and he hasn't so far really wilted under a big atmosphere. But Champions League fans is a different prospect. So I'm sort of on the fence because I'm all right with either. I can see a pro to both starting. So I'm with you. He may edge for Matip just for the experience. But if Konate starts, it doesn't surprise me. The other 3 are set in stone. Van Dijk starts, Robertson starts, and Trent starts. Because I'd be amazed. The reason Van Dijk doesn't start now is if God forbid, he's picked something up in the last 12 hours. You know, so...
Yeah, no. Look, that's it. For me... Yeah, look, it's the centre half. Who goes beside Van Dijk is going to be a pick tomorrow. Is the midfield going to be as predictable as Fabinho, Henderson, Keita, or does Thiago come in and start? I don't know whether he starts, but I think Fabinho starts 100%. And then up front has to be Salah, Mane, Diaz, because of how good they flourish together, the experience they have, but the threat, and I think that's our strongest. And then you've obviously Bobby, Minamino, and Jota off the bench. And I said with the 5 subs, it's great. But look, there's loads of talking points going into it, isn't there?
I don't think Fabinho starting's a nail on. I think the only nail possibly. I think the only nail in that midfield to start is Henderson because he's the only one.
I agree with that.
He's the only one who's 100% fit. Now, whether Henderson plays as the 6 or the 8, he's the 4.
If Naby Keita plays, Chris, we've seen he's improved this season. He's got more assists. He's got more game times. He's played more regularly and consistently. He's got more goals to his game, a bit more mature performances. And we knew that would happen once he's available, but he hasn't really, like, the debate I had with a couple of the family coming up to the FA Cup final was, would he go with Milner in there instead of Keita? Does he trust Keita as much? Now, look, Milner and Henderson, we've seen particularly way for Chelsea this season in midfield. They were just too pedestrianised, they were too alike, too much work.
I think with Milner, his days of being a regular starter went probably 18 months ago. Yeah. I think Milner now, his role for Liverpool is he's a fit, what you call him in cricket, a finisher. is he's to bring it on for the last 20 to see the game out. And we know how he sees the game out. He's very over physical. I think the only time if Milner stays next year, the only time he starts now will be like you do Southampton away, and that's your last start for 6 weeks. But you'll come in all the others for the last 20 minutes. I think that's how he uses Milner now. The thing with Keita is, when you look at the season, Klopp has started him in a lot of big away games. Some big away wins as well. He starts away at Chelsea, starts away at United. He does start. I think he's involved in City as well. He's thrown us a lot bigger. Atletico away.
Yeah, he does. He starts away at City
with mixed responses. Atletico away scores a great goal, but he's a bit off the boil. Man United away, he's fantastic.
Scores after 3 minutes, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. The FA Cup semi-final against City, he's excellent. And I actually thought he did a good job in the League Cup final. In the League Cup final, I think performance gets really underrated when you think he literally found out less than 20 minutes before kickoff, you're coming on, Thiago's injured. That was his prep time.
He played with Henderson and Fabinho and Elliot, wasn't Henderson there? He was brilliant.
It wouldn't surprise me if you saw Henderson, Keita, Thiago started and Fabinho's brought on for the last 30 minutes. They flip it. They start Fabinho and you bring Thiago on for the last half hour. Now, maybe that might be the better one, because if you're chasing a game, bring Thiago on to calm head, which is what he's really good at. If we're winning a game and it's a slender lead, which is what we could have done with probably in some games like away at Brentford, at home to Brighton, away at Chelsea, is you probably need to then bring a Thiago for the last half an hour to go foot on the ball, keep it simple, just keep them passing. Which, to be fair, flip the roles. That's what Kroos and Modric are really good at. Is if they get a lead, they're brilliant at just keeping the ball and manipulating the midfield just with clever passing. So
it's also just rejuvenating the team, isn't it? Because if you're 1-0 up, like you said, and 20 minutes, half an hour to go, you see Thiago coming on, just gives you that bit of a boost, gives you that bit more.
Because
it just gives you that bit of lift what you need in that game. Or Milner, or someone that is going to come on. You know exactly what you're getting out of the man. He said Thiago, foot on the ball, will do the brilliant bits when need to. But he's also, he can. His tackling is probably debatable. He gets a lot of yellow cards, but I think at the FA Cup final, it's a little bit frustrated for him. But it wasn't until I went back and looked what I thought he was very, very tired, and we were losing a lot of battles in there because when we dominated the game, we never made a count. And obviously, Chelsea were going to have their periods and their spells, and they did. And it worked out the way it did in the end. But I think Thiago would have been as frustrated as anybody because he's in a team where particularly the first 20 minutes of the FA Cup final, it's all Liverpool, and we should have been a goal, 2 up, and then should have been just holding on to it and having smart game management and not seeing the game out, but managing it better. I'm with you. What we've done at the start against City in the semis when we were 3-0 up, but because we didn't get a goal, you can see the nerve, the frustration, the anxiety kicks in. I was like last week against Wolves, 1-1. It looked like a stage we might not get one here, and that's mad how football goes. You just have to be clinical.
I don't think the crowd helped that day. I think the crowd. I think the crowd brought a bit of nervousness. Well, look, it's only natural because at one point it looked like, oh my god, the impossible might happen here. The interesting thing with Madrid is we've said we can name 10 of their 11. You could probably name their first 2 subs as well, which is Kroos will always go off around the 60 to 70 minute mark, and it'll be Camavinga coming on. And Camavinga changed the game against City. He's ridiculously talented. And look, that's the future of the midfield for them, which is a very bright future. And whoever starts out Valverde and Rodrigo, the other one's coming on 70 minutes for that, for Valverde and Rodrigo. So we pretty much know for Madrid what their starting 11 is almost and what their first 2 subs are, because that's been the form that's worked for the last 3 or 4 rounds. So why would you change it? I think that's sometimes a blessing and a curse for Liverpool is we could debate probably 3 or 4 teams we'd start, and we're happy with any of them. And it's a bit of a debate about who comes on. Like, I do expect Milner to come on at some point. I do expect whichever one of the 3 midfielders, the fourth one that misses out, which is either Keita, Fabinho, or Thiago, one of them's coming on. And I would expect Jota and Bobby to come on at some point. And maybe Bobby is the one that we could be key. Now, Bobby, outside of the World Club final, hasn't yet had like a big moment in like one of the traditional finals, FA Cup, League Cup, Champions League. He's not yet had his big moment. This could be Bobby's big moment. His big moment, but it might not be a goal. It might be you bring Bobby off last 20 minutes with a slender lead, and he just does what he does, which is keeps the ball and manipulates the ball and just tires Madrid out. So
and another player full of experience away from me. Now, he's been probably one of my favourite, if not the favourite player under the Klopp era. You know, he's evolved massively, hasn't he? And how just he's been world classers at times. I know, look, he's not there to get the goals, his ball retention, and he's a lot more than that. And he's the system at times. Well, has been for a long time. But I know now he's coming off a lot off the bench. But like, I mean, if one of them isn't on it, you know, Bobby can go in there and do a job and get goals. And at times this season, he's been remarkable as well, particularly in some of the tight, cagey games were tough. The start of the season, he got a couple of goals as well, didn't he? Bagged them, but I don't. He doesn't start tomorrow for me. You know, no. I think we both agree it has to be Salah, Mane, Diaz. But like, I mean, Salah has to be on it tomorrow, Chris, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, there's a lot of people worried about it. You know, he's saying he wants revenge and he wants this. And look, that's a bit of self-confidence from a player. He tends to do big games. Tends to suit Salah. He's a big game moment player. He's had enough goals in big games this year. You know, against City. You know, City at home was one of the best goals of the season, and then City away. It's the clever assist for Mane. You know, at the moment, Mane is the man of the moment. You know, he's just in sparkle, and that's the one you want. But do you know what? That could help Salah because Madrid, they're not focusing on Mane, and why wouldn't you? It's going to need to go. You can't mark them all. So I'm expecting a big game from Salah. And look, when he came against Wolves, he didn't like someone who tweaked his groin the week or two before. So I think what Liverpool have been clever with in both FA Cup and to be fair, but looks at Thiago in the Wolves game is as soon as they felt a tweak, they've hit the deck and gone, "That's me done. Yeah. I'm not risking it." Because I think Thiago, that whatever injury he had, and I think we could say the same with Van Dijk and Salah. I think they're the sort of injuries that you would play through them for a lot longer. But they can't risk it because of so many other prizes up for grabs at the moment. And to be honest, they know what's coming on is, you know, Jota or it's Matip. You know, it's quality players coming on, so it does help. So, what score are you going for tomorrow
then? Good question. I hate the predictions. I don't mind.
That's why I put it. That's why I put it on you.
Yeah, typical games, but in a final of this magnitude and caliber, look, we're going for the treble. What an extraordinary season it's been! Like League Cup, FA Cup, we could be dogged on windows and had to be at our best, and our nerve and composure and just that resilience got us through in the end, you know. And the league, we bring it to the last couple of minutes and the last day of the season, like it was, you know, it was going our way for a long time as well. Well, we were 1-1, but it was a matter of time before we got the second. But we done our business in the day, to be fair, and it was always up to another result, which is it's a big ask in the last day of the season. But tomorrow we've control, Chris. It's a final. You know, if we win, we win it. It's none of this relying on our teams. Liverpool to win 2-1. I'd love it to be 2 or 3-0. I'd love for it to be a boring game. Liverpool to score early. Not many talking points. It's just an easy game. And to be honest with you, I'm not bothered about injuries tomorrow once we win it, because obviously the lads of the summer and then pre-season, look, you still don't be getting injuries to any of the big players, of course. And if it is, you only want something they're going to be out for a couple of weeks. But tomorrow, it's the last game of them all. It's the 63rd game of the season. We've the parade on Sunday. It's just party mode this weekend, regardless of what happens, Chris. You know, the parade is announced. Everyone's just the last couple of weeks have been soaking her up, drinking her in, relished everything, and rightly so, because it's been unbelievable. Like, for us to have done what we've done and to be in the position to have done what we've done, it doesn't get enough credit, you know. And I'm not going to go into because of finances and nest spends and all that, but just in general, you know. And in January, I'll go back as far back as January, where things weren't looking as good. We were losing players to African Cup of Nations. We lost at Leicester, drew at Chelsea. Then we go on this run, and then we draw at home to Arsenal. And Arsenal fans were humble. You know, they beat us back at the Emirates. We just evolved from then on. After we beat Brentford 3-0, Diaz comes in, and everything is just all of a sudden looking good. And then we're winning. And there's a lot of games where we didn't play all that well in, but we got the job done. You know what I mean? The resilience, that urgency, that never give up, and all that mental side and attitude that Klopp has implemented. And to be here tomorrow in a final, it's really pinch yourself sort of stuff being a fan, isn't it? But I go with 2-1 to Liverpool tomorrow. I think the lads will know how big it is and get the job done, and they'll be a little bit frustrated over last week, knowing that look, Villa really, lost the Forest. They'll be hurt a little bit by that, but they'll have moved on to this just as quick, and they will also, I can guarantee you, want to end the last game on such a high, because there's nothing worse than winning last week in the end, which you'd say was comfortable enough in the end. We got the second, to then find out you're not going to win it because with a few minutes to go, see you've come back. So what score do you think?
In my head, it's saying 2-1 Liverpool after extra time. My heart is saying 3-1 Liverpool, but the third comes probably in the last 2 or 3 minutes. It'll be horrible. But it's going to be a horrible game because it'll be tight. But I can see there's a few Madrid fans in the chat, which is always good to see.
Yeah. There's one in there from Zachoi137 Vamos Madrid, which is good to see as well. Yeah, fair play.
Yeah,
and look, it's Madrid tomorrow. It would be worse if it was Man City, wouldn't it, for everyone? And look, you always think of, if you lose, it's Madrid. It's look, the most successful side in Europe, and they've already beaten City and Chelsea, so no one can slander us. But we're not. We're looking at the glass half full here. Well, I am, anyway. But I couldn't help when we got them to think of what would happen. Sorry, Chris, you were saying there.
I say, yeah. Look, it's what you're in it for, isn't it? If you don't enjoy Liverpool now, don't know when you're going to enjoy it. Look, I know we all want to win the big shiny things at the end, and I get that. We all do. But you've also got to enjoy the journey. The fact, if you get to the point where you're in 3 cup finals in one season and you only just miss out on the league by a point, if we win tomorrow, it's a very, very special season. It'll probably go down as one of my favourite seasons, probably my favourite since 2001. The 2001 season where we got 3 cups and qualified for Champions League. I think I was about 18 then. That was one of my favourite seasons because that was similar. Every game was relentless. This is the similar season, but on a different level because it's the Champions League. And it's just...
Probably, would you say, one of our greatest season ever? I know in 83 was the League Cup, Champions League. Obviously, the league's a bit more glory than the FA Cup, no doubt about it.
It's definitely a debate to be up there. I suppose if you don't have a league title in your name, it's hard to say it's your greatest, but it's not far off. I mean, look, if we're sitting here tomorrow, you and me going, we've won the European Cup plus the 2 domestic cups. Not much is wrong with the world, really, is there? But look, I'm looking forward to it. Look, we know it's going to be a hard game with Madrid. It always, Madrid are an exceptional side. But what people have got to, what Liverpool fans have got to realise is, so are we. We are an exceptional side, and you've seen what we can do. And look, teams will fear us. Look, everyone was hoping they got Villarreal. Bayern Munich wouldn't have liked to play if they managed to get past Villarreal as well. So, look, I'm looking forward to it. I do think we'll bring it home, but I think it's going to be a lot of heart attacks and a lot of stress because that's what Champions League fans are all about. They're very rare you see one where a team runs away with it. I mean, look, I love it if we do, but we've got to be realistic here. I think it's going to be a tight, tough final.
Who do you a few there thrown in the chats, Hala Madrid, and that there's a lot of them. So that's it's good to see. Look, it's good to see a few Madrid fans in as well. But I suppose what did you say your score prediction was, Chris?
I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1. Boy, that's a huge one, big game. But Klopp summed it up last week. If you want to win big, you have to be ready, be prepared. I think it was something like that, to lose big. Yeah, it sums it up, and you have to just love the man himself, the god of Liverpool. You just have to love his attitude. He was smiling at the end of it. No doubt about it, disappointed, but look, he wouldn't have been naive enough to think like you win a quadruple. Like, obviously it was possible, and it become realistic as the weeks went on and days went on. But I think we had that draw against Spurs was a little bit. I'm not so sure about it because then with the FA Cup final the week later, we'd only had one. But I always said when we'd beaten Chelsea in the League Cup final and we were on some run of form in March, April, we got through an unbelievable hard month of April, that we will, if we win 2, it'd be exceptional. And then I didn't think would probably go the end. But no, I hope not 3. Lord Joseph says Madrid late come back 3-2. No, I hope not. I don't think so. I don't see us conceding 3 goals. But look, Liverpool to win tomorrow. I'm going with 2-1. Chris is going with 3-1. I think one of us will be right. And I don't care if we're completely wrong once we win. I'll take a boarding game. Ben's my man the match. No, we've Van Dijk, we've Kanate, we've Matip, we've the great Scottish Robbo, and obviously Trent, who was absolutely exceptional this season, dominates games. Everyone grows up and wants to be a Trent Alexander-Arnold as a fullback now. When we thought the fullback position was, no one ever wanted to play it. As Carragher once said, no one wants to go and be a Gary Neville, but of course everyone wants to be a TAA, a Trent Alexander-Arnold. Chris, I'm going to go, mate. Couple of things on this evening, busy. Great having you on. Everybody go over. There's a lot in the chat here tonight. It's great to see in comments to Sports Unplugged at 10 o'clock. Chris will be live with Kev and Luke, and there was someone else on, you said? Ash as well.
Ash as well,
so I imagine that's going to be dominated by the European Cup final tomorrow, talking points on it, and I'll tune in.
Yeah, he might get a mention, yeah. I've got a feeling he might get a mention on the show, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Even something small. But no, look, it's great to have you on, Chris. The first time on it, and was great. Liverpool kind of have a great squad. It will be interesting. Yeah, well, it'd be very interesting when Klopp lifts aloft the 7th European Cup, wouldn't it? It'd be just unbelievable to win 3 finals in 5 years, Chris. It's these are the days, as they say, and that's my quote. My quote of the week are "These are the days," regardless. But it's great to see. The rivals, United, Chelsea fans, some Everton I know, a lot bitter about this, really hard, and it's great to see. I love it because they know, regardless of what happens, how great it's been for us, Chris, I've talked a lot tonight. Anything else you want to say? Or
no, nothing from me, mate. Thanks for having me on, and I'll try and go on again soon. Absolutely,
I'll definitely get you on as well, and I'll get Kev on as well soon. Look, I'll be probably throw out something before kick-off tomorrow, and then over the weekend, definitely content, whether we win or lose. But there's only going to be one winner this weekend. That is the Mighty Reds going for number 7. It's the stairway to 7 for Liverpool in the European Cup. Have a good one all. Thanks. Remember to like, comment and share, and go over and watch Sports Unplugged. Subscribe to the LSE Day Trippers. Chris is on tonight at 10 o'clock. Take care all.